Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go, this is Valley News Live at noon.
New at noon, the governor of North Dakota is proposing a new total budget of $15 billion for the state. The new figures come out of an address to the state legislature this morning. Governor Burgum wants the state to reduce general fund spending by about $8 million to more than $4.8 billion. That would bring the total state budget to about $15 billion. The governor also wants to pass a historic $1.25 billion bonding bill for infrastructure. In the end, the legislature needs to pass a budget that the governor could then sign. One Moorhead man is under arrest after police say he tried to run over a guy and then crashed into a building. It happened this morning in the 2500 block of 15th Street South around 4. Police say the driver tried to ram another man with his vehicle, then hit the entrance to that apartment building. The victim told our crew on scene that he hurt his leg, but it could have been much worse if he didn't run behind that concrete barrier leading into the door of the building. Police then arrested 36-year-old Benny Rodriguez of Moorhead. He's facing charges for terrorizing, aggravated assault, and driving under the influence. Taking that live look outside right now, we got a bit more sun than we did the other day. Again, a pretty nice, mild weather out there for the start of December. To see if it's going to stick around and for how much longer, we head on over to meteorologist Lisa Green.
Good afternoon. It is gorgeous out there. Temperatures are feeling good for December. We've hit 40 in both Grand Forks and Fargo. Surpassed our forecast high even at the noon hour. We're at 42 in Grand Forks, 41 in Fargo. It's 43 over in Jamestown. So southeastern North Dakota all the way up the Red River Valley there. We're really looking at some of the most mild temperatures. Over to the east, also mild, but not quite as warm. We're into the 30s in a lot of those spots, including places along the international border. So a warm afternoon. Temperatures are going up. The winds are brisk in those areas where we're seeing some warmer numbers. We're getting wind out of the west, and that helps to coming down off of higher elevations. It tends to warm up a little bit, and we're looking at Gwinner at a gust of 21. Radar satellite showing quiet weather. The black and white visible satellite pictures are showing just a few clouds meandering through, but overall we've got some mostly sunny skies, and we can expect to enjoy some mild numbers as we head through our planner here for the rest of the afternoon and continuing on into the evening. It should be pretty quiet, just a gorgeous second half of the day, and we will let you know how long this is going to continue coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Might have to have my lunch on a patio. Lisa, thank you very much this afternoon. It is now 12:04. A vulnerable, nonverbal teenager is now back with her guardian after she was found at a motel all by herself this morning. Police found the 16-year-old girl with Down syndrome at the Roadway Inn along University Drive around 4 this morning. She was wearing her pajamas and a coat. Now, after putting out a call for help, police eventually found her caregiver. It's unknown at this time how the girl ended up there all by herself. Black Lives Matter group members in the FM area are planning to protest outside the home of NDSU President Dean Brashani to demand accountability. This comes after a racist Snapchat group surfaced that included NDSU students. Some people who complained say the school isn't doing enough. Now, those protests are planned for tomorrow and Saturday, starting at 2 in the afternoon. In an Instagram post, organizers write that the school has made it clear that this is the group's only option if they want something to be done. New details are out today on how and when a COVID vaccine would be distributed. This as federal agencies, states, and healthcare facilities gear up for a possible approval this month. The FDA says it's working 7 days a week to analyze the data and following the guidelines to make sure that all vaccines are safe and effective. Stephanie Gosk has the latest from New York.
With the British government set to distribute Pfizer's vaccine within the coming days, all eyes are on the FDA. Public pressure being dialed up on the agency to come forward with its own authorization. They say they are painstakingly going through every line of data from Pfizer before they grant this authorization. They will also hold a public hearing with a vaccine advisory board. The hope is that a transparent process will help bolster public confidence in the vaccine. Once that authorization comes through, HHS and the Department of Defense say they could have doses out within a matter of hours. Now, in the country, there are still questions about distribution and concerns, among them this issue of getting this Pfizer vaccine, which has to be stored in subarctic temperatures, to rural areas. I spoke with the CEO of a healthcare company in Kansas who says that state only has 10 facilities that can actually store the vaccine. He's worried that it's going to be difficult to get his healthcare workers vaccinated. He will have to take them off the job. And remember, it takes 2 doses to be vaccinated. They'll have to come off the job to get those vaccinations, and they are desperately needed. The other question is one of money here in New York. The governor, Andrew Cuomo, says that it's going to cost $1 billion to vaccinate the entire state. And so far, there's no federal assistance to make that happen. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News, New York.
Meanwhile, former presidents Barack Obama, George W. Bush, and Bill Clinton say they will take a coronavirus vaccine once one is available. The former presidents say they may allow themselves to be filmed taking the vaccine in a public setting to build confidence in the U.S. about its safety. Their comments come as numerous polls find many Americans are skeptical about getting a COVID-19 vaccine, potentially jeopardizing U.S. vaccination efforts to control the pandemic. Some states expect to distribute a COVID vaccine in as little as 2 weeks. New jobless claims have hit the lowest level of the pandemic, but they are still well above pre-pandemic numbers. First-time claims for unemployment dropped to 712,000 from 787,000 a week ago. Continuing claims, or the number of people applying for assistance for 2 weeks or more, also dropped by more than 500,000 to 5.52 million. However, filings for assistance from the Emergency Pandemic Program continue to rise. In our consumer alert this afternoon, Carnival cancels more cruises now through February. The battered cruise line issued an update this morning saying select cruises from Miami, Port Canaveral, and Galveston were canceled in February. The company also announced that it's delaying the inaugural sailing of the Mardi Gras until at least April. The new ship is the first liquefied natural gas-powered boat in the Americas and features the first roller coaster out at sea. A tiger nearly tore off a volunteer's arm this morning at a big cat rescue in Tampa, Florida. That place might sound familiar because it's the sanctuary owned by Netflix star Carol Baskin. Now, according to rescue management, a volunteer was seriously injured when a tiger that she was feeding nearly ripped her arm off. Officials haven't released many details other than the incident happened around 8:30 their time. Baskin says the volunteer, who has worked at the rescue for 5 years, was attacked by a tiger named Kimba. Health experts are learning more about patients who have had COVID but continue to have symptoms. We check in on those long haulers. But next, mild out there today. Actually, it's pretty beautiful. We are in the low 40s right now in the metro. Lisa Green checks that forecast to see how long it sticks around.